and a very good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking time away from your busy schedule to be part of today's ADSelfService Plus webinar. This is Sharda Murthy from the marketing team of Manage Engine and a product expert in ADSelfService Plus, and I am going to be your presenter of the day. Thank you so much for joining me in today's session. I hope you're having a great day already. And today's session is going to be all about deploying a self-service password reset solution for not only your native Active Directory, but Office 365 as well. I'm going to walk you through how simple it is for users in your organization to take care of their own password self-service actions, password reset in specific, across both platforms, the on-premises Active Directory as well as Office 365. Before I jump into today's session, I would like to do a quick audio and video check. So if my voice is audible and if the display is well and clear, pardon me, if the display is well and clear, please drop in a yes message in the chat box provided. Waiting on a couple of confirmations. If my voice is loud and clear and if you can view the screen well, please drop in a yes message in the chat box or questions tab provided. All right, thank you so much. If you do face any technical glitches during the session, please keep us notified so I can check what went wrong before I proceed with the session. Also, if you do have any questions regarding today's session, please keep them coming. We have a dedicated questions tab to answer all your questions. You can also save your questions for the last 10 minutes of today's session or drop in a mail to me if you require more information about this module. Also, a video recording of today's session will reach your inbox. If you'd like to receive a personal copy, drop in your mail address before checking out of the session. So if your schedule gets hectic and you would like to discontinue today's session, no problem. Just drop in a message and your email address so we can ensure that today's recorded session reaches your inbox. All right, with that said and no further ado, let me quickly jump into today's agenda. So the idea is to help administrators or IT security specialists across organizations to better manage passwords, to empower users to take care of their own password management. And today's focus is going to be on hybrid identities. The reason why we're talking about hybrid identities is though the cloud transformation is, let me say, catching up with us, it's fast. We are fast transforming to the cloud. Experts across the world, experts who work with IT management, do not see a complete transition to the cloud anytime in the next five years to, let's say, a decade, simply because the complete migration from an on-premises setup is very difficult. And even today, in 2020, we're still talking about close to 90% of the organizations across the world still having a Windows ecosystem in place, still making use of the native Active Directory to better manage identities. Yes, we do have a lot more options today in terms of managing identities in organizations, but today's focus is going to be around the Microsoft ecosystem and how we can strike a good balance between managing passwords for the on-premises Active Directory as well as users' Office 365 accounts. So yes, I'm going to start talking about how easy it is to allow users to reset their own hybrid account passwords. So when I say hybrid account passwords, users can reset passwords for their Active Directory accounts, their native Windows logon. They can also reset passwords for their Office 365 accounts or choose to do it at once for both. So this is something that you can decide for users in your organization. This is also something that users can pick when it comes to password resets. And this is the customization that ADSelfService Plus provides. We're also going to move on to talk about how simple it is to enable single sign-on. So let's talk about cases where organizations, if you belong to one such organization, I'm sure this will be relatable. Let's say the identities are still in your on-premises setup, but users have on Office 365 accounts to manage. In that case, you can enable single sign-on with the help of SAML. And I'm also going to show you how you can do that with ADSelfService Plus, how users can make use of their Active Directory credentials to log in and access not only their Office 365 account, but multiple on-premises and cloud applications, and also how you can enforce a centralized OU or group-based strong password policy for native Active Directory, for Office 365, and the granular password policy that you enforce as administrators, as IT security specialists, as help desk technicians, or irrespective of the department that you work with. If you handle password management for users in your organization, you can very well go ahead and enforce a centralized granular password policy for users in your organization. And I'm going to show you how to customize that as well. So this is the agenda put forth in front of us today. And like I said, if you do have any questions, you can drop in your questions in the questions tab. You can also drop in a mail to me. I will pass on my email address towards the end of today's session. What I'm going to do is to make things a little interesting. I have a dedicated workshop set up. So if you do not have ADSelfService Plus in place, I'm sorry, today is a bad day. I've been having a tongue slip way too often. If you do not have ADSelfService Plus in place, what you can do is check out the link that I've dropped in your chat box at the moment. So just to understand my audience better and just to customize this session for you, I have two questions. I'm going to pop in one question at the moment. It's a poll question. So the question reads, how do you know Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus? Are you an existing customer, or are you evaluating Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus? I'm going to take in a couple of seconds for you to answer. This will help me customize the session to meet your needs. So do let me know by answering the poll question, just a couple of seconds, so I can address the audience respectively. Just a couple of seconds there. All right. All right. I see almost mixed answer, almost a 50-50 at the moment. All right. It is narrowing more towards I am currently evaluating ADSelfService Plus. Great. Thank you so much for taking time to answer the poll. All right. To cater both kinds of audience who are with us today, I'm going to talk a little bit from the basic of how you can set up and get started working with ADSelfService Plus. So as soon as you download ADSelfService Plus from the website, as soon as you download ADSelfService Plus from the website, this is the screen that you'll end up at. This is going to take about 5 minutes to set up and configure. And once you log in as an administrator, the very first thing that you'd have to do is set up your domain. All right. To those of you who don't already know, ADSelfService Plus is part of the AD360 module, our solution suite, which consists of close to 7 solutions at the moment. And yes, ADSelfService Plus is the password management, integrated password management and single sign-on solution from Manage Engine. So you start with configuring the domain settings, and once you do this, all you have to do is enter the domain name, add in the domain controller, authenticate your identity with administrative privileges, and you are good to go. You can go about and make changes to the domain, refresh objects or update objects, set this as a default domain, go about and add more domains. So yes, this is where we get started when we work with ADSelfService Plus. Jumping to the configuration tab, what I've done here is pre-configured my setup. trying to replicate a small organizational structure. So admin, finance, and marketing. Let me quickly open my ADUC console to show you. I've done the same here as well. So I have a module under my name, Sharada, and I have organizational units with users sorted into each of these organizational units, all right? And I have given all these self-service permissions. Once again, you can add a new policy and selectively permit self-service actions based on OUs as well as groups present in the Active Directory. So once again, this is completely customizable. So when we talk about password resets, the very, very important thing that I want to address is authenticating users' identities when it comes to password reset. So by default, ADSelfService Plus has the security question answer method of authentication. How this works is as an administrator, you can pick the different self-service policies and choose different authenticators for users belonging to different policies. So let's say I go to the finance policy, the finance self-service policy. You can see that the authentication methods available are security question answer, email verification, and Microsoft Authenticator. All right, you can also go about and set different conditions or settings based on the authenticators that you have configured. So let me jump back to admin. I will be working just with the admin settings today, admin policy today. When I move to authenticator settings, you can see that for multi-factor authentication for password reset and account unlock, I have one factor of authentication enabled, and I have all the 5 authenticators that I have enabled checked right here. I can also go about and set a particular method as mandatory. I can increase the number of authenticators during a password reset or account unlock operation. All right, I can also enforce these authenticators for the ADSelfService Plus login. As you can see, I have enabled this for enable security questions for the ADSelfService Plus login. I can also choose to disable this for single sign-on enabled enterprise applications. I'm going to talk about this a little later during the session. And when we talk about endpoint multi-factor authentication, I'm talking about log-on authentication. So when users log on to their Linux, Macs, or Windows systems, they have to authenticate their identity with one of the selected authenticators before they access their machines itself. So this is in terms of authentication, different authenticators for different venues, if I can put it that way. But today I'm going to focus on multi-factor authentication. I'm going to walk you through how users can authenticate their identity with the said authenticator. So let me pick enable two authenticators, and I'm going to set security question answer as mandatory. All right. Now, once this is done, let me quickly save these settings and jump to password sync or single sign-on. So like I said, today's focus is on Office 365. I have pre-configured both single sign-on and password synchronization right before today's session. Hope I can show both techniques for you, but it's very, very simple. When you click add a new system, we have 2 modules that you can pick from, password synchronizer and single sign-on. So when I'm working with password synchronizer, all I need to do is give in the domain name. Display name is something that I can give in to identify this particular configuration. Username, which is my administrative account for that particular application that I'm working with. The password, which is administrative password. And also selectively give access to policies listed right here. All right. So like I said, I have pre-configured Office 365 password synchronization for this account, this particular account right there. And I've given access to all policies. All right. So let's see how this works. I perform a live demo of how password resets work with ADSelfService Plus. All right. So imagine Sharada to be a user. I am trying to give in my password to log into ADSelfService Plus. And it says my password is expired, all right? So what I'm going to try to do is see if I can get access by resetting my password. Click on continue. And I am redirected to this page where I have to give in the answers to my security questions. If you remember, we had made security question as a mandatory authenticator. I'm guessing this is 6 and not B. Let me try. Perfect. So now that I have verified my identity with a mandatory authenticator, what I'm going to do is pick another authenticator, in this case, Microsoft. I have my Microsoft authenticator in my mobile device, which I unfortunately could not screen share because it's my personal device. But yes, I do have a code with me at the moment, and let me quickly key in the code, key in the captcha as well before I run out of time, and click on continue. Yes, perfect. So I have authenticated my identity with not one, but 2 authenticators, the security question answer, which was made mandatory, and the Microsoft authenticator. As a user, I can pick any authenticator of my convenience. But what I want you to focus on right now is that I am in the reset password page, and I can reset my password for not only my Active Directory, which is sspworkshop.com, but also my Office 365 account. I can also selectively reset my password for my Office 365 account. And this update happens real time. So let me see if I can do this. All right. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do this from another console because I have a password policy, uh, strict password policy enforced. So I want to talk about that before I reset my password. So I'm going to quickly cancel this and go back to the admin console and talk about my password policy before I talk to you more about resetting passwords. That way it's easier. So what I've done here is I jump to the password policy enforcer listed on your screen. So configuration tab, self-service password policy enforcer. And here I have customized a custom granular password policy. So let's say I pick the OU Finance, check this box. I have a list of complexity roles that I can work with, all right? And as an administrator, I can customize different password policies for users belonging to different OUs and groups. I can selectively pick a lot of password policies, password complexities, and given this criteria, which says at least 5 of the above complexity requirements have to be satisfied. So this is completely up to me. What I've done here is I've enforced this policy in the GNAS CPA console. I've also enforced this in the password reset and change password pages, which is great, all right? Now let me quickly tweak this because I do not want to forget my password. So just for convenience, special characters, numerals, disallowed palindromes, disallowed characters from a username, disallowed dictionary words, perfect. I'm going to click save. This password policy this password policy has been enforced for admin, all right? So once again, let me repeat the process. I have a message which says I am locked out. So Sharda is trying to reset. Sharda is trying to unlock her account. So that's another self-service operation. Giving in the answers to my security question again. Click on continue. I am going to use the Microsoft Authenticator. Given the CAPTCHA. Once again, CAPTCHA is customizable, so you can choose to have it or not. I've given the code which is there on my mobile device, giving in the captcha again. All right, so now all I have to do is enter the captcha to unlock my account. Yes, my account has been successfully unlocked. What I'm going to do now is try to reset my password because my password has expired. I do not seem to remember my old password. And yes, let me go ahead with forgot your password operation. I'm sorry, I think I messed up the captcha. TNM. All right, continue. Once again, I have to do this every single time to prove to ADSelfService Plus that it is me going through this operation. I am picking the Microsoft Authenticator again because that's the app that is available with me, giving in the captcha. That's a no. All right, continue. So now what I'm going to do is reset passwords for both my Office 365 and Active Directory. Let's wait for this to reflect. I have met the password complexity as well, something that we customize right now from the ADSelfService Plus console. Perfect. My password has been reset successfully for both of my accounts. What I'm going to do is quickly copy this to show you that changes that happen in ADSelfService Plus is reflected real time. And so I'm going to try and log in to my Office 365 account with the password that I just reset. All right, Office 365 also has two-factor authentication for login enabled. So I'm going to quickly give that to prove that it's me. Yes. After which, after giving in the password that I just reset, verifying my identity with two-factor authentication, I was able to successfully log on and access my Office 365 account. So now when we address password-related help desk calls, we have successfully mitigated both Active Directory based calls as well as Office 365 account based calls, though Office 365 also provides password reset operation, the choice to reset passwords. The advantage that I see here is with the help of password synchronization, irrespective of where password resets happen for the native Active Directory, the password is automatically synchronized for your Office 365 account. This might be a security concern, but how we tackle this is by enforcing a custom granular password policy. I will show you a very interesting thing. So when I talk about password policies, the advantage that ADSelfService Plus provides is not only does it educate users by displaying the password right here, right? Not only does it educate users by displaying the passwords right here on the Gina CP console, it also disallows you from setting weak passwords, right? I had satisfied almost all the said complexities displayed right here. All right, you can also see that live. So as a user, when I give in my password, I have a check against all the complexity rules that I have abided to. I can also click here to check the complexity rules that I have met. But what's interesting is I cannot set the dictionary word password, which is something that I had given in my new password. This makes things a lot more easy because you can beef up the password security not only for your on-premises Active Directory, but for multiple on-premises and cloud applications with the help of the password sync module by enforcing a custom granular password policy right here. You can also override all the complexity rules if the password length is above a certain maximum, all right? So I'm going to quickly jump to password sync and single sign-on and talk about different modules that we support password self-service for. So I'm going to click on password sync apps, and starting from the IBM system, the Oracle database, Office 365, Zendesk, ServiceNow, ADLDS, G Suite, Salesforce, Zoho. We also do it across multiple Active Directories for your Microsoft SQL Server, and we keep working on adding this list. So for both on-premises and cloud applications, if you would like to enforce one password which is strong, which is smart, which is also easy to remember, and also educate users about the password complexity that they need to meet, this is the module that you need to check out. This is the place where you can set up and configure. And let me show you how simple this is, all right? So let's pick Salesforce. This is random. Let's pick Salesforce. If I would like to configure password synchronization for Salesforce, all I need to do is click on No More, where I have a detailed stepwise help guide, which tells me how I can do this, all right? The same works for multiple other single sign-on enabled applications as well. I'll show you a couple of them right now. So when I talk about single sign-on, the advantage that ADSelfService Plus provides is you can configure SAML-based single sign-on for more than 100 pre-configured applications listed on your screen, more than 100 pre-configured applications. But my favorite part is we support SSO for any custom SAML-based application, both on-premises and cloud-based, and you can set it up for internal applications in your organization as well in this particular dashboard. So let me do that once again for you. Configuration tab, self-service, single sign-on, and here you can add it for a custom. You can add a custom new app by clicking this tab. As you can see, I have SSO pre-configured for G Suite and Office 365. Let me quickly walk you through the steps of how you can configure single sign-on for Office 365. So the first step that you need to do is give in your domain name, the display name, description, and select the policies that you'd like to apply it for. And trust me when I say this, this is all you need to do to configure Office 365 in the ADSelfService Plus end. But when you'd like for it to work seamlessly, you also need to do it on the Office 365 setup. So when we talk about Microsoft, one of the easiest, I shouldn't say easiest, when we talk about Microsoft, one of their most common ways to tackle actions, customizable actions, is with the help of PowerShell script. And fortunately or unfortunately, this is exactly what they have done in terms of third-party applications setting up Office 365 single sign-on for their organization as well. So when we talk about Office 365 SSO, these are the details that you would need to set it up for users in your organization. And this is done with the help of PowerShell scripts. So let me show you how that can be done. So the prerequisite is these, all right? So the login URL, the logout URL, and download the SSO certificate. Once this is done, this is a series of PowerShell scripts that you need to enter in, all right? I will show you a sample that I have right here that I had just pre-configured before I started with today's session. And since we're working with the native PowerShell to configure Office 365, it's going to take about 45 minutes to, that's the minimum it's taken for me, a minimum of 45 minutes all the way up to a couple of hours to set this up. So make sure that you do it well in advance before you announce to users in your organization. So the first step would be to give in the credentials. Make sure you're working with PowerShell administrative rights. I'm going to quickly walk you through this. I'm not going to perform a live demo. You give in these commands listed right here, all right? And make note of this as well. So for SSO enabled domains, the status will be verified, and it can be enabled only for non-administrative domains, okay? So the company name given here would be nothing but the domain that you're working with. Let me quickly pick that up for you. Right there, thinktodaytechnologies.com, all right? And the login value, the logout value, and the certification is what you would have picked up from here. So what I do for my convenience is I create this list. I copy paste the commands and I customize it based on what I'm working with, the module or the domain that I'm working with, so that it's easy for me to simply copy paste the commands. And finally, when you're done with the PowerShell scripting, the domain that you're working with right here will have the account status as verified and the authentication status as federated. So this is your good to go sign. Since I had just pre-configured this before starting today's session, let me check if this is working. If not, I will show you how this works with G Suite, all right? So as a user, let me try and log into the ADSelfService Plus console with the password that I had recently reset. And now I have to give in the security question, because if you remember, we had enabled authentication for ADSelfService Plus logon as well. So I've given in the answers to my security question. I've also trusted this browser for the next 180 days. And once I hit continue, I will have my single sign-on enabled applications listed right here. This is my user portal. I can customize all the values listed right here. I can give in more values. I can go about and perform a change password operation as well. And when I say change password, I can do this selectively for my Office 365 account or any password synchronization enabled account. I will talk a little bit about enrollment towards the end of the session, but this is where you will find single sign-on enabled applications. So a simple click to login is all you need to do to work with single sign-on. So let me see. All right. It's not up and running, but what will happen when you click Office 365 single sign-on is you will be redirected to the account that has been mapped. I will also show you how that works. The same with G Suite as well. I have an account that has been mapped right here. And all right, hard luck. My account has been disabled. But yes, I'm sure you get the idea. When users try and work with multiple applications, both on-premises and cloud applications, business applications, it could also be internal applications. A simple click to login is enough for users to seamlessly log in and access their applications. Talking about enrollment, if you remember, I started this session by talking about two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication, and enrollment basically is the process of signing up with all these authenticators. So you as an administrator will set up different authenticators right here. But let's take the case of Microsoft Authenticator, all right? I, as a user, have to download the app, configure it, and set it up so that I can use my Microsoft application in my device as an authenticator. So the enrollment tab will basically allow users to set up different authenticators. Let me show you an example of this, all right? So the fingerprint authentication is available in native ADSelfService Plus. Once I install the ADSelfService Plus mobile app, I will be able to enroll for fingerprint authentication from the mobile app itself. So I need to give in my Active Directory domain username and password. And then, yes, it's a self-explanatory stepwise guide right here. And as you can see, I have similarly customized this for different authenticators at different point of time. I can remove device, I can change my device, and this is completely customizable as well. So when we talk about ADSelfService Plus, when we talk about authentication, we provide a one-click seamless access to multiple applications. We also provide customization in terms of logging in and accessing applications. You can, as an administrator, set different password policies for different users based on their OUs and groups. You can also empower users to take care of their own password resets, not only for their Active Directory, their Office 365, but multiple other on-premises and cloud applications. And this is the power of password management, and it's important to empower users with their own password management capabilities for their hybrid identities And with that said, I'm going to quickly wrap up today's session. If you do have any questions, please keep them coming. I'll take time to answer them. You can also write to me at sharda@manageengine.com. I would be more than happy to assist you with your questions. If you require more resources, if you have any more questions pertaining to other Manage Engine solutions as well, if you require assistance with evaluating our solutions, all this and much more. So you can always let me know your requirements. You can drop in a mail to me anytime, and I'd be more than happy to help you with all the information that I have. Before I check out of today's session, I'd also like to reiterate that we have a dedicated team of experts that we call the support team, who work 24/5, and they are the best people to reach out to if you have customization requests, feature requests, if you have trouble with the application, if you'd like to customize a particular module to meet the needs of your organization, please drop in a mail to support@ADSelfServicePlus.com, and they will help you with all your needs. They will cater to all your needs. So thanks to them for that. Thanks to you if you have dropped in a mail and resolved your queries, your questions, your troubles. One last question, which is for people who are evaluating ADSelfService Plus. If you do have any assistance, if you require any assistance in evaluating the solution, you can set up a personalized demo with our product specialists, and please drop in a yes in the poll that is available on your screen. This will help us identify you and reach out to you for any assistance in the near future. A couple of seconds there. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm closing the poll for now. And yes, do let me know how you like today's session. Your valuable feedback is what will help me improve this webinar, the upcoming webinars and workshops. So thank you so much in advance for your valuable feedback. Your comments, ideas, suggestions are always welcome. You can also mail them to me. Do let me know how you like the session. I really hope it was informative. I had a really good time being the presenter for the day. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. This is Sharda Murthy from the marketing team of Manage Engine signing off for the day. Have a lovely day ahead. You were a wonderful audience.